Hey guys, Troy Casey, Certified Health Nut here in Sedona, Arizona in the Vortex. And today I've got a very special guest for you, but I just wanted to show you this amazing cave that's very near to my house. So as you can see, it goes all the way back here. And then there's Cathedral Rock right there. And then we've got Bell Rock down there. And so just showing you guys the beauty of Sedona. And I found this specimen right here, Mike Gavoni, of Healing Beyond Addiction. Now, many of you guys know that I've struggled with addiction over the years, and I've healed a lot of aspects of myself through addiction, and I have my own unique perspective on addiction and recovery and honoring really where you're at. I like to say that we are managing our addictions to the degree we're managing our stress. And a lot of our stress, as Mike and I were talking earlier today, a lot of it has to do with your nervous system. And my parents were fist fighting when I was in the womb. I know that Mike had some challenges as well. So we were literally swimming in cortisol, which is our baseline norm. And so oftentimes through self-sabotage, we will create that energetic of stress in our lives, and it replicates, and then we get into the pattern of doing the same things we've always done and trying to get different results. But that's the definition of insanity. And so I wanted to bring on Mike. He's an astute practitioner. He's got his own brand as well, and his expertise. We spent about 2 hours before starting to make videos now. And so Mike, can you tell the people a little bit about your story and your approach to helping people heal with addiction? And thanks for coming on, by the way.
Yeah.
This guy's East Coaster.
Yeah, that's right.
Real deal Boston style, baby.
Yeah, so pardon the accent. There's not many R's that will be pronounced during this, but yeah, Troy, thanks for allowing me to come on your platform, and thank you for listening and checking in with us today. And yeah, my brand is Healing Beyond Recovery. Because I believe that people who are in recovery from substance abuse and obviously inactive addiction as well are ultimately looking for healing. They're looking to experience their own wholeness. And as a result of, we become addicted not because something's wrong with us, but because things that happen to us, right? And me and Troy were just talking about that. Troy and I our introduction, even before we came here into this reality or the physical, we were swimming around as aquatic beings in cortisol because of our parents. And that's the same situation that happened to me. My mother found out about my dad's secret, and I have a deep, long, in-depth story, but part of it is my father was a religious figure. My father was a Catholic priest before I knew him, and he had a lot of skeletons in his closet, let's just say. And my mom discovered his story, right? And she had to flee with my sister and I was in utero. And that set my nervous system up, I believe, for autoimmune conditions epigenetically, and for early onset disease and cognitive issues. Now, what I'm explaining here is trauma. And I believe that all addiction is a result of trauma. Now, trauma is misunderstood in a lot of ways. As a lot of people think of war trauma, sexual abuse trauma, domestic violence trauma, and yes, that is trauma. But trauma can be subtle things like, your parents not doing their work per se, and then not being able to hold a safe container for you, or your mom may be too anxious and she can't attune to you properly as a child, and you take on that energy, or let's just say you may have some attachment wounds as a result of not being able to bond, or maybe your parent was an alcoholic like my mom was. So all those things can be very traumatizing for a little nervous system, and I think addiction is an attempt to resolve that dysregulation in the nervous system, right? we take something with addiction from substances, we take something from the external environment and we put it in us to shift, to change something, to find some balance, right? Maybe you can talk to people when you're under the influence, or maybe it makes you feel like, you know, you're seen and you can speak your truth, or maybe you can socialize, or maybe you can go on dates, or maybe you just evaporate and you're a blackout drinker, or whatever the case may be. But it does something for us. And the healing is when we begin to find that regulation and we begin to discharge the energy of trauma that's stuck in our nervous system that creates the dis-ease, that creates the uneasiness. And that's been my story. My pillars are childhood trauma, as addiction as a result of trauma, and then because we know, even from the work of Bessel van der Kolk, a prominent medical doctor who wrote the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that the trauma lives inside the viscera. And the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, we're receiving 80% of our information here from our viscera. So if we're holding the somatics of trauma and trauma activation in our nervous system because of things happen to us, then that's what we're getting fed, those tapes all day that we're unsafe, or, you know, we're trying to, we you know, create patterns of hypervigilance. We're trying to determine who's safe or friend or foe all the time. And it creates a difficult space to be in. And so we try to escape. So my work and my message is we need to heal the root of the disease, and that is the trauma that's stuck in our body, in our nervous system.
Well, that's a great approach. It's aligned with mine. And I just do want to put this disclaimer out there that, you know, there's no victims. I truly believe that we pick our parents for our own soul's growth. There's no mistakes. I know I've had plenty of trauma as I was younger. I know Rudy Reyes has as well. And to witness my own spiritual growth because of this, to witness Rudy Reyes' spiritual growth and challenges, I think we are thrown curveballs, and it ends up being spiritual fodder for our own awakening, is my humble opinion. Otherwise, we're victims, and I don't believe that there are any victims on this planet. We are powerful beyond measure when we align with the higher principles, natural law, universal law, and of course God at the highest level of your understanding. And so where can people find more information about you and your work, and how do you work with clients? Maybe you can explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so I believe we have to address the whole person, right? If you get into recovery from substance abuse, recovery is just one spoke of a larger wheel. But like Troy, he has his pillars, I have my 8 pillars, and some of them are, you know, path of spirituality, path to recovery, work-life purpose, diet, nutrition, gut health, trauma, right? All these things need to be addressed because we're multidimensional beings. We're not just you know, these simple machines per se. There's a lot of aspects to us, and a huge part of it is the separation from the self, and that's getting into the world of the spiritual, right? Connecting to our own essence, experiencing our own wholeness, and that, I believe, is done through the process of awakening. You can find more about me and the approach I take about healing beyond recovery at mikegavoni.com, or I have a podcast called the Healing Beyond Recovery podcast, which I hope to have Troy on soon. And yeah, that's where you can find me. On Instagram, Mike Gavoni as well, MikeGovoni.
Awesome. Yes, it's all about holistic integration. There is no allopathic this for that methodology, silver bullet, you know, secret pill or anything like that. This is work, you know, and putting all the pieces together. Obviously his pillars overlap with mine, and again, there's nothing new underneath the sun. We are just distilling this wisdom through our own modern day, you know, humanity. And so God bless everyone out there. Connect with Mike. He's the real deal. Come to Sedona for healing. You can work with him in Sedona as well, and have a great day, guys.